Welcome back, geometry thinkers. Today's TEK is G2B. This is to derive and use the distance, slope, and midpoint formulas to verify geometric relationships, including congruence of segments and parallelism or perpendicularity of parts of lines. Now, today's video deals with using the concept of midpoint to find missing measures of segments. Our learning objective is to calculate the missing measures of a line segment when given an algebraic expression using the concept of midpoint. So our success criteria, meaning you will know you have mastered this objective when you can actually calculate the missing measures of a line segment when given an algebraic expression using this concept of a midpoint. Every step you take and every skill you learn makes you stronger. I know you can do this, so let's turn your practice into power. The best way to understand this concept is actually to solve a problem. So let's work together on this one problem. The directions read, find the measure of line segment XY if Y is the midpoint of XZ. So we get a drawing, and this drawing looks like a line segment. The endpoints are X and Z, and the midpoint is Y. Now, you have to remember what a midpoint is. You know that a midpoint breaks that line segment up into congruent segments. So you know that this segment here is congruent to this segment here. It is given to us that xy is 9a minus 2 and yz is 14 plus 5a. If y is the midpoint and these two line segments are congruent, then you know that this has to be equal to this. These two algebraic expressions have to be equal. So we have right here, since y is the midpoint of xz, I can say that xy is congruent to yz. Now, you're going to see this symbol a lot right here in geometry. If there are three dots that make a triangle, that is shorthand for the word therefore. Three dots means therefore. So if I'm looking at this, I know that I have two congruent pieces of that line segment. So I'm going to set them equal, and I'm going to say 9a minus 2 equals 14 plus 5a. Now, your task is to actually calculate what a is. You have to solve this algebraic equation for a. What I usually do is I draw a line right down the middle. And what happens is I make sure that I keep everything on the left and everything on the right that's supposed to be in those positions. If I do something to the left, I have to do it to the right. If I do something to the right side, I have to do it to the left. And so you'll see I'm using two different colors to differentiate this. So we're starting out with this pink color, right? So if you go down, you'll see there is dark blue writing. And that dark blue writing, you'll notice it's the exact same thing on the left and on the right. I'm subtracting 5a. I'm subtracting 5a. I'm adding 2. I'm adding 2. I'm dividing by 4. I'm dividing by 4. I do it in two different colors so that it will actually be so visible to you so you know what changes from step to step. So with that, let's journey back to algebra and solve some algebraic equation. So I want to get my variables to the left and my numbers to the right. So that means I have to move this 5a over here, and I need to move that 2 over to this position over here. So I'm going to work with the 5a's first. I'm going to take everything on the left and I'm going to subtract my 5a. If I subtract 5a on this side, guess what? I have to subtract 5a on this side. And the reason I'm subtracting 5a is because it's going to cancel out. And these two literally cross out, and all that's left is your 14. So now I need to combine like terms. I need to simplify. So I'm going to take my 9a and I'm going to take my negative 5a, and that's going to give me my 4a. So now I bring down the negative 2 and I have 4a minus 2 is going to equal 14. I want to get my 4a's all by themselves. How do I do that? Well, if I'm subtracting 2, I need to add 2 to both sides. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. My next step is to add 2 to the left and add 2 to the right. So when I add 2 to the left, it cancels these 2's out, and all that remains is that 4a. On the right, I have 14 plus 2, which is equal to 16. So this is my new simplified equation. I am so close to getting a by itself. So the question that I ask is this: what's happening to a? I am multiplying by 4. What's the opposite of multiplying by 4? Dividing by 4. So in order to get the a by itself, I'm going to need to divide the left side and the right side by 4. And that's exactly what you see here. I'm dividing the left side by 4 and the right side by 4. The 4's cross out on the left, which is exactly what we want, because remember, our task is to get a by itself. So we have a equals 16 divided by 4 is 4. So our task was initially to get a by itself, to solve for a, and we know that a is 4. But let's go back up to that problem and let's look what they're asking for. So they want us to find the measure of xy. So they don't want to know what a is. They want to know how big is this piece of the line segment. Well, we know that it's 9a minus 2. So if I know that a is 4, all I'm going to do is plug 4 in for a, and I'm going to get 9 times 4 minus 2. So I'm going to come down here, and you'll see what I wrote. I said if a is equal to 4, and I know that xy is equal to 9a minus 2, I'm just going to substitute 4 in for a. So I rewrite the line segment xy to be 9 times 4 minus 2. I know that 9 times 4 is 36, and I bring down my negative 2. 36 minus 2 is 34. So they want us to tell them what was xy. It is 34. I box my answer in, and we have completed the problem. Now it's your turn to take the lead. Let's see how you can apply what we have just learned. Now the instructions read, suppose M is the midpoint of FG. What is the measure of FG? And they're telling us that we have FM is equal to 5y plus 13, MG is equal to 5 minus 3y, and they want us to figure out how big is FG. So I need you to visualize what they've just stated in the problem. They have a line segment FG. The midpoint M would be in the middle, and they're telling us right here that we know that FM is 5y plus 13, and we know that MG is 5 minus 3y. With those hints, I need for you to solve and find out how big FG is. Here's the answer to the problem. Please pause the video and check your answers on the next 2 slides. So we have one slide and it continues on the next. So please pause the video, check the portion of your work that goes up to solving for y, and then move the video forward to look at the second slide, which is right here, which shows you how you substituted y in and got the final answer of FG equals 16. So here is our first slide. Please pause the video. Here is our second slide. Please pause the video. I would like us to try one more practice problem. The problem reads, suppose M is the midpoint of FG, line segment FG. What is the variable A? They tell us that FM is equal to 8A plus 1, FG equals 42. Therefore, what is A, knowing all of this information? Please remember to show all of your work in your notebook and be sure to box in your final answer. Your written work should clearly show how you're thinking so that I can follow your logic step by step. Now, if you have any questions or issues, please ask for help. You may check your answer on the next two slides. Now, please pause the video, complete your work, and when you're finished, press play to continue. Here's the answer to our second problem. Please pause the video and check your answer on the next two slides. When you're finished, press play to continue. Here is slide 1. Here is slide 2. This is it for today's video. If something doesn't make sense, that is your cue to ask questions. You can come to me, you can visit with your classmates, or even try AI for step-by-step explanations. We are all here to help you succeed. You learn best by breaking big concepts down step by step and skill by skill. You are turning your practice into power. I believe in you and I know you can do this. You are on your way to success.